And I think it's about that time for us to begin. So, welcome everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Just to let you know, this webinar is being recorded so that those who aren't able to join us live are still able to watch it later in their own convenience. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us for our first Better Bus Lunch and Learn. I'm Kelsey Saunders, and I'll be serving as your MC for today's event. If you've visited our virtual experience lab, you may know me as the Better Bus Mad Scientist. We're so excited to share our Draft Visionary Network, talk about some key changes in Maryland, and get your questions answered by some of our experts. We'll be hosting 2 more of these over the next couple of weeks. Our Lunch and Learn will focus on Virginia, will be in Thursday, May 4th, and our DC focused Lunch and Learn will be on Tuesday, May 9th. But don't worry, if you can't attend them all, we'll be posting the recordings on our website at wamata.com/betterbus for viewing at your leisure. I'd like to start off with some quick notes on how to use the Zoom platform and an introduction of the team you'll hear from today. Then we'll provide an overview of the Better Bus Network redesign project and introduce you to the Draft Visionary Network and how it was developed. You'll get to hear from Ginger, some highlights on what the Draft Visionary Network means for Maryland. No matter where you are in our region, you are welcome here today. But we will be highlighting Maryland specific examples today. And remember, we'll be hosting Virginia and DC focused lunch and learns over the next couple of weeks. Finally, we'll give a quick overview of the ways you can provide your feedback on the Visionary Network, along with some demos of our lab tools. We'll give some time to answer your questions at the end of our presentation, but we want you to be engaged throughout. So we're going to have a couple of poll questions for you to answer. And we want to encourage you to use the chat to ask questions as they come up. We're using Zoom today. As participants in this event, your video is off and you're muted by default. If you have questions, please submit them by using the Q&A function at any time during the webinar or during our Q&A session at the end of the webinar. We'll do our best to respond to questions that come in, but we may not be able to respond to each and every one. Lastly, closed captioning is available during this webinar. Now, before we get started, we want to make sure you know who you'll be hearing from. Once again, I'm Kelsey Saunders, your MC for this afternoon. You'll also be hearing from Al Himes, the Director of Metro Office of Bus Service Planning and Scheduling. We'll also be joined by Ginger Archibald, the Maryland Bus Service Planner on the Metro team. We also have a lot of Metro project team members here behind the scenes that will help to answer your questions. Now, let's get started with the poll question. First one, how often do you ride the bus? You should see the question pop up on your screen in just a few seconds. After that, you'll make your selection. You'll see the results update in real time from the other attendees. So how often do you ride the bus? And that should be populating shortly here. How often do you ride the bus? I know some of us probably may ride the bus a lot and don't count how many times we ride it because it's just so routine to get on a bus and go. But when you take time to think about it, just a few minutes, how often do you ride the bus? Okay. So it looks like it's a tie between a few times a week and once a week. Good information, great information. And with that, I'll hand it off to Al to provide an overview of the Better Bus Initiative and the network redesign project.
Okay, thanks, Kelsey. A few years ago, in partnership with stakeholders from across the region, Metro led the bus transformation project. Our network redesign project is an effort that came from that work and is focused on ways to rethink, redesign, and revitalize bus service. The network redesign is part of Metro's larger Better Bus initiative, which includes many ongoing and future efforts to improve bus service, such as facilities modernization, zero emissions, and bus priority. It's an ambitious vision for the bus service the region needs, and we look forward to working with you all as we refine the vision and make it a reality. Metro can't do this alone, and we are working collaboratively with each local transit provider in the region. In Maryland, we're partnering with the bus to evaluate both Metrobus and the bus routes in Prince George's County and redesign their local bus network in addition to ours. We are also working hand in hand with Montgomery County as part of Ride on Reimagine, the county's network redesign project. In Virginia, we are also partnering with Q to evaluate both Metrobus and Q routes in the city of Fairfax and redesign their local bus network. We are also working with other Virginia providers such as Arlington Transit, Dash, Fairfax Connector, and the City of Falls Church. This map illustrates how we are working with each local bus provider in the region. Metrobus turned 50 years old this year, and through the Better Bus initiative, Metro is taking a fresh and detailed look at our bus service and routes to serve you better. We're developing a fast, frequent, and reliable bus network that's easier to understand. The network redesign is intended to keep up with our evolving region and the people that live here. It's an opportunity to better connect people to where they need to go and promote equity, inclusiveness, and access to opportunity. It's also an opportunity to create an easy-to-use network, no matter where you are, so that we can serve our current and future customers effectively. We are at an important stage of this process. We've developed a draft visionary network, but we need to hear from you to make it better. We have lots of opportunities to provide feedback between now and June 5th, and we'll talk in a little bit about all those ways. But before we do, we want to explain a little bit more about the draft visionary network, how we got here, and what it means for you and our whole region. Last fall, we talked to thousands of people across the region as we started this effort. We heard about lots of ways that bus can be better, but it's important that we highlight that 45% of customers rated current bus service very good or excellent, with another 42% of respondents noting that service was fair. These responses held true in both our survey and our interactions with customers at bus stops. Comparatively, 50% of people of color and 56% of low-income individuals rated the system very good or excellent, a little higher than the population as a whole. These ratings help solidify that we don't need to change everything about the current bus network, but that we do need to focus in on where there is the most critical need and opportunity. The draft visionary network has a lot of features that respond to what we've heard from customers. Things like expanded frequency, an increase in crosstown and cross-county connections, and direct frequent routes connecting key destinations all came through as priorities during our outreach last fall. With your input, we've created the draft visionary network, the bus network the region needs. By changing bus routes and schedules, this network makes bus travel faster, more frequent, and more reliable for bus customers across the region. The draft visionary network includes an expanded frequent service network and more service all day and all days of the week. We also know that a regional 24-hour network is critical to service key employment and nightlife areas, and the draft network includes several routes that run all day and overnight. The Draft Visionary Network also includes many new crosstown and cross-county connections, including a new route between New Carrollton, Addison Road, and Suitland metro stations, extending the reach of the future Purple Line currently under construction by our Maryland MTA partners. The Visionary Network connects to key destinations with direct, frequent routes, such as more connections to National Harbor, and a new route connecting Tysons to Bethesda. And existing service is extended beyond jurisdictional boundaries to better reflect where people actually want to go, such as connecting Chevy Chase, Maryland and Chevy Chase in a district by bus, something that can't be done easily today. A couple of important things as we start to talk in more detail about the Draft Visionary Network and as you begin to explore. As I mentioned, we base this work on data, input from bus operators, input from local jurisdictions and bus systems, and what we heard from public feedback last fall. We need your help to refine this draft to make it even better. Our team used current service data, information about destinations and where transit demand will be the highest, and your input in crafting this Draft Visionary Network. We're now looking for your input again as we refine the Draft Visionary Network into meeting the region's needs. We started with jurisdictional plans and transit visions, looked for opportunities to improve routes, add service to focus areas with high levels of activity, and looked for network level enhancements like crossing jurisdictional boundaries to provide service. Implementing the Draft Visionary Network will require additional resources, approximately a 35% increase in funding for bus in the region to meet these critical needs. We have not yet identified who will operate each service. That work is still to come in the next phase. We have also used new temporary bus route numbers. Because the Draft Visionary Network is so significantly different than the existing network, we couldn't use the existing route numbers for this conversation. We'll think more about how route numbers are reworked later in the project, but know that these bus numbers are not the final names. The Visionary Network will better serve the region and could result in more transit trips every day. 40 to 45,000 new transit trips every weekday and 30 to 35,000 new trips every weekend day. If those trips happen on transit instead of in a car, over 14,000 metric tons of CO2 emissions from cars could be avoided each year. That amount of pollution that is prevented by people taking transit instead of driving is the equivalent to air pollution that results from 2,800 homes' electricity use over an entire year. Fewer cars on the road reduces traffic congestion and improves air quality, resulting in safer, healthier streets and communities and helping the region achieve its climate goals. The Visionary Network would also create a bus system that also builds equity in the region and increases access to opportunity for communities of color and low-income communities. As I turn it over to my colleague Ginger, we want to ask you another poll question. Our Draft Visionary Network includes some inherent trade-offs. So we'd like to know whether when you ride the bus, you prefer high-frequency service with transfers or less frequent but direct service. As you're making your choices, I'll hand things over to Kelsey and Ginger.
Thank you, Al. Very well said. Very well said. A lot of great information in there. And all those results that we got, unbelievable. But now we have another polling question, a little bit of a break. What choice would you make? High frequency service with transfers or less frequent, but more direct? Now, it depends on your choices and depends on where you're going. So only you can answer that. But let us know as this is populating. And that should be coming up very shortly here. I would imagine if I had eggs, though, I'd want to get there faster. Don't want eggs to spoil. High frequency service, it looks like it is a tie based on the folks we have on the call today. So it's half and half. Very cool. Now we'll close that out. And thanks for participating in this poll, everyone. Now we're going to hear from Ginger.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Al and Kelsey. I know that was a lot of information for everyone to digest, so let's just pause briefly before I dive deeper into what the draft Visionary Network means for Maryland. Is everyone ready? Okay. So one of the major benefits of the Visionary Network is that it provides more high-frequency service to more people at more times of the day. That means more weekend service. Across the region, significantly more people will have high-frequency service on the weekends than they do now. And it also means more midday service, with more than 400,000 people gaining access to high-frequency service in the middle of the day. In addition to increasing the number of routes that offer service every 12 minutes or better all day, the Visionary Network also includes a dramatic increase in the number of routes in the medium frequency category, with all-day service frequencies between 12 and 20 minutes. In Maryland, 500% more routes will operate in that 12 to 20-minute service level all day, every day. This map shows an overview of the existing and the proposed service in Maryland. Now, we have a very large Maryland service area, so apologies to anyone who wanted to specifically look at the network around Shady Grove or Bowie or Fort Washington. Later in the presentation, Kelsey will walk you through ways to explore any area of the Visionary Network you're interested in. The Visionary Network is designed to provide service to people where and when they need it. That means providing all-day service and weekend service across the region so that people can rely on buses to make the trips they need to make every day. In Maryland, 103,000 more residents will have access to bus service on Saturdays, and nearly 200,000 more will have access to bus service on Sundays. While the Visionary Network adds weekend service across the region, the majority of those weekend improvements are in Maryland. One great example is in Laurel. This map shows the existing Saturday Metrobus service in the Laurel area, where our 89M and Z7 routes provide service to Greenbelt and Silver Spring on weekdays only. As you can see on this next map, the Visionary Network will provide Laurel with robust weekday and weekend service, including one-seat rides to Silver Spring, White Oak, Greenbelt, and a new direct service to Bowie. In addition to new weekend service, the Visionary Network includes a regional 24-hour bus network providing overnight bus service to 1.1 million people across the region, including 371,000 Maryland residents. Many of these improvements are focused on residents of Metro's equity-focused communities, which are the areas in our region that have the highest concentrations of people of color, low-income households, and/or disabled residents. You can see these areas in gray on the map. All of this comes while retaining bus service to 99% of those residents who currently have service. The Visionary Network improves access for people, allowing them to reach opportunities and amenities that are essential in their daily lives. Increased frequencies, new direct connections, and other improvements mean that the average resident in the region will be able to access 13,000 more jobs on transit than they can with the existing bus network. One example of this is in the National Harbor area. This map shows the current bus service to and from National Harbor and the Oxon Hill Park and Ride. Current service is limited and operates at fairly low frequencies. Under the Visionary Network, we can see that there is more service, higher frequency service, and new direct connections from National Harbor to Franconia in Virginia, Anacostia in DC, and Suitland in Maryland. These changes mean that more people will be able to access employment, shopping, and entertainment options in the National Harbor area easily and quickly via transit, even if those trips cross jurisdictional boundaries. Similar changes around the region are designed to improve access to a range of essential services like grocery stores and hospitals, especially on weekends and during the middle of the day. The Visionary Network also improves the customer experience by providing convenient transit options for more of the trips people make today. Based on what the public has told us, convenient trips are trips that reliably take less time, and the Visionary Network makes trips faster for current bus customers across the region. In fact, 10% more of the bus trips made today could be made in 30 minutes or less with the Visionary Network. Across the region, we estimate that the Visionary Network would save about 20,000 hours for riders every weekday. The Visionary Network also makes transit a more convenient option for people who don't currently use transit to get around. 20% more of the trips currently made in the region could be made conveniently by transit under this plan. This should encourage more people to use transit for their everyday travel. This map shows the current network in Greenbelt during rush hour and weekdays. And here's the proposed rush hour network with more high frequency service and a new direct connection to Bowie, which is off screen. Many bus trips will get faster and more convenient for current and potential riders. The Visionary Network also takes advantage of regional investments in infrastructure for bus rapid transit and bus prioritization. The Visionary Network uses existing and planned dedicated infrastructure. One example is the planned New Hampshire Avenue bus rapid transit alignment currently being planned by our partners in Montgomery County. This first map shows existing service in the New Hampshire Avenue corridor. The Visionary Network expands existing service on this corridor to Colesville in order to take advantage of the planned BRT infrastructure. In total, the Visionary Network will have significantly more service operating on facilities with bus priority. In Maryland, 62% more weekday bus service will operate on streets with bus priority and more than 100% on weekends. This is especially important because taking advantage of these coordinated investments will make bus service faster and more reliable for bus riders, which benefits everyone traveling in our region. So we want to ask you one more question before we talk about how you can get engaged in this process. As we mentioned before, bus service decisions always involve trade-offs. For you, would you rather have less frequent service, but service on every street, or more frequent service, but on fewer streets? As you answer this question, I will hand things back to Kelsey.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you. Wow, what a choice. Less frequent bus service on every street or more frequent bus service on fewer streets. I will tell you, Ginger, you had me at shopping because we do need to buy more things for the lab. So I stopped listening after shopping, but everything was great information. I've heard it and it's great information. So we'll wait till this finished poll and we'll get some answers from folks and some responses. Let's see. And there we have it. What choice would you make? The choice is, from everybody unanimously that's on the call, more frequent bus service on fewer streets. Thank you so much for filling that out. That's a great answer. We can appreciate that. Thank you, Ginger. It's so great to see these explanations of the Visionary Network and what it would mean for people in Maryland and across the region. Now, I'm going to talk about all the ways you can give us feedback on the Visionary Network because we need to hear from you. We are holding events across the region between now and June 5th. I'll talk in more detail about our community workshops, our roadshow pop-ups, but you may also run into our team doing bus ride-alongs, asking bus customers, excuse me, all these fumes in the lab here, asking bus customers to engage during their trips. Now, we'll be doing an Ask Me Anything event also to answer all your questions about Better Bus. Now, events in Maryland. For our workshops in Maryland, we have one on Saturday, May 6th at West Hyattsville Library and one on Sunday, May 21st at the Creative Suitland Arts Center. These are immersive events where you can talk to our team, do a variety of activities, and even win some prizes. We're also planning 4 roadshow pop-up events in Maryland alongside others across the region. These can sometimes be affected by weather or other changes, so you can always check the Better Bus website for the latest information. And as always, our website at wamata.com/betterbus is the best place to learn more and see a full listing of our planned events. Now, we also have our online Better Bus Experience Lab. This is an online space for people who want to explore the Visionary Network at their own pace or who may not be able to attend an in-person event. The Experience Lab has a few great tools that we're going to demonstrate in a moment. We also have a map library so that you can explore all elements of the Visionary Network, either the whole network or individual routes. We also have an online survey for you to weigh in on options for future bus service and let us know what the Draft Network means for you and your trips. As our thank you for taking the survey, we'll enter your name to win a $50 gift card. We are now going to show you two demonstration videos, one for the Trip Planner tool and the next for the Comment on Your Route tool. The new Trip Planner tool allows you to see what the Draft Visionary Network would mean for the trips you take using starting and ending points that you add to a map of the region.
The new Trip Planner is an illustrative tool that allows you to compare your regular trips on the existing network to what your trips may be like under the new Draft Visionary Network. So let's get started. First, click in the box labeled Start and type the location where you usually start your trip. Next, type your destination in the Destination box. Trips you might take under today's existing network and the Draft Visionary Network are shown on the left side of the screen. The planner also shows the anticipated travel time for the fastest trip under each network. This time includes the total time needed to access the stop or station, waiting for the bus or train, and riding to your destination. You can switch between time periods to see how your trip may change based on the time of day or day of the week you are traveling. You can also click on each possible trip in the panel on the left and use the map on the right to understand how your trip may change under the Draft Visionary Network. Changes in travel time could be due to a change in service frequency or a simpler route that gets you to your destination more quickly. You can also compare the area accessible by transit in the current network and in the Draft Visionary Network using the overlapping red, blue, and purple shapes on the map. The existing network is shown in red, and the Draft Visionary Network is shown in blue. The parts on the map in purple are areas where both networks are transit accessible within a given time period. To change your desired travel time, click and drag the slider showing Area Accessible by Transit and take a look at where the Draft Visionary Network could take you.
Wow, how cool is that? So interactive. Now, here's the second video, focused on our commitment. I focused on your comment on the route tool. Now, this tool allows you to see how the proposed routes in the Draft Visionary Network compare to current Metrobus routes, giving you a sense of how your current route might change in the future. You can also provide route-by-route feedback using the interactive comment map to tell us what you like and what you would change about the route. You can see what others in your community think too.
Comment on Your Route is an interactive comment map that allows you to see how the Draft Visionary Network compares to bus routes you currently ride and share your feedback. Let's get started. First, use the route search bar to select and view a map of a current route. A new map loads in the page that shows the existing route plus any draft routes from the Visionary Network that would replace it. In the background, you can see the full Visionary Network and other transit routes that are close by. The Info button describes the legend categories in more detail. You can view the legend on your mobile device by selecting the yellow info circle at the bottom of the map. Explore the map by zooming in and out to different locations and by hovering over different bus routes. If hovering over a segment that is serviced by multiple bus routes, a pop-up will list the different routes along that segment. If hovering over a segment that is served by one route, The other routes will be hidden from view so you can more clearly explore the service provided by that specific route. Next, click the Add Comment button to provide feedback. Select the icon that best describes your feedback and drop it on the map. To add a comment on your mobile device, click the menu bar at the top of the map and select Add Comment. You can tell us why you like or dislike something, or what your need is, and submit it to the project team. You can also view and reply to other people's comments on the map. If you agree with something someone already said, be sure to say so in the reply section. Use the Reset Map View button to show the entire draft network, or search for another existing route to provide more route-specific feedback.
Wow, another cool tool to help you along your way. I love the whole interactiveness of it all. Now, I'll turn it back over to Al to wrap up our presentation.
Thanks, Kelsey. I know we've thrown a lot of information at you all, so we want to conclude the presentation with some next steps. To remind you all of the schedule, we're in this public and stakeholder engagement period of phase 2. We still have phase 3 to go as we refine the visionary network based on your feedback, and we'll get into some more details. At the end of phase 3, we'll be seeking approval from the Metro Board for the visionary network, and we'll begin making incremental changes to start implementing the network beginning in 2024. Your input is critical to help us improve on the draft visionary network. We still plan to make adjustments in where the routes go, when the service operates, and how often buses will run based on what you tell us. We'll then be able to figure out exactly what steps we need to take to make the visionary network a reality.
What a great way to close it out, Al. Thank you so much. That concludes the formal presentation today. We have some time left, though, before we end to answer your questions. If you haven't already, please send in your questions via the Q&A function, and we'll dive right into them. I also want to remind you that you can always get more information at wmata.com/betterbus, which is the home for all the network redesign information. So now we will dive into your questions. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Let's go right into the chat box. Okay. So, question. All right. So we've gotten some questions about the route numbers in the visionary network. Al, can you talk about why you're changing all of the bus route numbers?
Yes, the temporary route numbers used in a draft visionary network are placeholders. So something that can be refined as we continue to work and finalize the visionary network. So, we'll be back to you to further, to discuss what, in the next phase, we'll talk more about what those permanent route numbers might look like.
Thank you, Al. Appreciate your comment on that one. Question number 2. Let's see. What are the steps you're taking to boost safe pedestrian and bicyclist roller access to bus stops?
Yeah. Metro doesn't own or operate the streets that we run on, but we continue to work with our jurisdictional partners to make access safer to our bus stops. The visionary network is helping to identify where safety improvements are needed, and that work will continue to happen in parallel with the network redesign.
Thank you again, Al. Another question we have, can you talk about connections from New Carrollton or from MARC stations?
Yes, I'll go ahead and turn this one over to Ginger to talk about how we connected to these key destinations.
I had a feeling I'd be taking this one. So yes, we have several routes at New Carrollton. New Carrollton is already a hub for our bus routes, but we have streamlined and enhanced service at New Carrollton. with continued or new connections to Glendale, Suitland, Tacoma, Silver Spring, College Park, Cheverly, and down Rhode Island Avenue. We also have several connections at MARC stations like Laurel, Bowie State, and Merkirk. You can take a look at some of the interactive tools that were discussed in the presentation and the maps on the website to see specifics about which routes serve which stations.
Well, thank you, Ginger. Thank you. I don't see too many more questions in the chat right now. Is there anyone who would else that would like to post a question in the chat? It looks like that might be it, but don't forget, you can also go online and do the survey online at wmata.com/betterbus and fill out your information. And you can also come to one of our workshops, or when you see the team out in our wonderful shirts, you can come out and talk to us. We'll be doing those bus ride-alongs, again, the pop-ups and the workshops. We'd love to chat with you sometime with the experts out there in the field. If you don't have anything right now. And like I say, we'll be doing some of these online webinars in case you can't reach out to any of the events. Go ahead, Al. Sorry.
Kelsey, I see a few additional questions that we can address. So one question is, would non-BRT buses have signal control and other service operating enhancements? And in response to that, we have over 250 signals in the region right now that have signal priority. The majority of those are in the District of Columbia, but we continue to work with the Maryland jurisdictions and the state to identify additional locations where bus priority would be most effective and helpful in improving bus speeds and reliability for all types of bus service. So those measures definitely are not limited to just BRT type services.
Great. Thank you, Al. I do see the fifth question here. Can y'all add free Wi-Fi to every bus?
Yep, and that's another great question as well. And while we're talking today about the network redesign, we have a number of efforts as part of the larger Better Bus initiative, including ways to make our buses more responsive to customer needs. And it's great to get feedback like this to provide the best customer experience we can.
Very cool. Thank you again, Al. Another question has populated. You talked about partnering with other operators in the region. Does the route exploration tool include non-WMATA buses?
Yep, that's a great question as well. The Trip Planner tool does include all the buses operated in the region, including the bus Ride On in Maryland, DC Circulator, Arlington Transit, Fairfax Connector, Dash Q. The comment on your route tool only includes the routes included in the visionary network, which we want your feedback on. So that does not include all the local bus routes. So as mentioned, this mostly focuses on Metrobus, the bus and Q, the three systems that we're actually working on route designs. But for that Trip Planner tool, it's important to see how this new network interacts with all the other service that will continue to be out there. So all that's included to calculate the best trip time for you under this new visionary network.
Thank you, Al. I have some more questions populating here. Here we go. All right. This next question is question number 7. It reads, can y'all make the bus from Six Flags to Addison Road Station more direct, more frequently, and run later at night?
Yep, and I'll let Ginger take this one as well.
So we do have a seasonal service that we run over the summer called the C27 that adds supplemental service to Six Flags. And that service begins running Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day weekend. And then there are specific nights, weekend nights through Halloween that we run service when Six Flags is having events.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you so much. So we'll have a few more moments here. If anyone has any other questions, there we go. They're populating. Here we go. Yes, indeed. Okay, this question asks, will this presentation be available to watch after? I was not able to attend for the beginning. The answer is, go ahead, Al.
Oh, yeah, and if you want to take this one too, that's
Okay, it's quick and easy for me. So the answer is yes. The recording will be posted and the presentation will be online on WMATA.com/betterbus. Yes, you'll be able to view it there. Absolutely. And so as we sit, we were waiting to see if there's any other questions coming through. We know there was a lot of information that was presented today, but again, the best tool is to go to the website. If something didn't get answered today and you want a little bit more information besides the presentation itself, more than happy to go online at WMATA.com/betterbus.com and, add your questions there, take the survey there. And then again, too, you'll be able to see the schedule. So when you look at the schedule, feel free to take a look at where we're going to be next and come out and talk to some of our experts in the field and planning staff, and they'd be more than happy to answer those questions. And we have a really cool setup in the field also. So you're going to come by and see this whole experience that we have at the events we have coming up, whether it be the pop-ups or actually whether it be the workshops, the ride-alongs. You'll be able to see us in those wonderful uniforms too. And so while we're talking, we do have another question that populated. So I'll go ahead and read that here. And this is question number 9, and it reads, I'm curious to know if the new network have included routes heavily used by students, school-specific routes like the W47.
Yes, the school, school travel, school travel is very important to the network as well. And the Draft Visionary Network specifically considered access to schools, particularly in the district, since so many of our students use the bus to get to school every day. We really want this kind of specific feedback as we go forward. So go into those commenting tools and the maps and point out those school connections. If you see stuff that's missing, put some comments in the map, or if there's stuff that works really well, let us know that too, so we know we've got it right. So please use those tools that we shared today to pass those comments along.
Absolutely. That's the whole point in having these events like this, so we can get great comments from folks who are right there in the community. And I can say there's several, like Al mentioned, there's several different ways to do that. You can come to the workshops. You can come to when you see us out on the buses for the ride along. You can see us when we come to the pop-ups. So we're all around in the community. So definitely feel free to do that. And again, your comments this spring will help scale the Visionary Network to a more constrained network that meets funding and driver availability also. And, that could be implemented sometime after July 24th. It'll be Metro's 2025 fiscal year. But however, as you may know, Metro is facing a significant funding gap right now. And we're working on our funding partners to figure out how to continue to fund service overall, right? Funding expanded service is part of that conversation also. So,
yeah, and your comments this spring will help us scale from the Visionary Network to a more constrained network that meets funding and driver availability that could be implemented sometime after July 2024, which is our fiscal year 2025 budget. However, as you may know, Metro is facing a significant funding gap, and we're working with our funding partners to figure out how to continue to fund service overall. Funding expanded service is part of that ongoing conversation, that we'll be having.
Thank you, Al. And just to go back, just to reiterate, I just want to read that question one more time. It asks, when will you all request funding for the new routes to get them started, and how far along after public input will the new routes be added? And thank you for that answer, Al.
Yeah.
We have one last question, and that very last question says, you talked about bus ride-alongs. When are the ride-alongs happening?
Yeah, and those those ride-alongs are happening along bus routes across the region over the next 6 weeks. And we hope to see you on one of your bus trips out there. So we'll have people out there, and we're trying to connect with as many people as we can.
Yes, and don't forget to say hi. If you see us, tell us, hey, I was on the chat and I had some questions, and now I want to ask more questions, or I just wanted to see and come by what you folks are doing at the pop-ups. It looks like we're coming to an end of this session, but I think I speak for everyone to say we've had a great time today, and we really enjoyed the folks that attended and asked these really, really detailed questions, because we want to provide you with answers. And we can only do it with your help and with your support. So continue to jump online and fill out the surveys. Definitely come to us in the field, and stay engaged. There's one more thing on there. The ride-alongs are happening on bus routes across the region. We talked about that, but definitely stay engaged. And the website, go to the website, WMATA.com/butterbus. Go to the website and see everything that's going on, whether it be where we're going to be at, any changes that are happening, and you can supply the survey right there. Definitely go out and check that out. But other than that, we're going to wrap it up at this point. And I want to thank everyone, each and every one of you for attending. I'll say one more time, WMATA.com/betterbus. To catch the events that we're going to be at, and to fill out the survey, and just to keep up to date with what's happening. Definitely go on the website and do that. And we look forward to seeing you in the field. Have a great day.
Yep. Thanks everyone for joining us.